All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today from different parts of the world. Welcome to Pcloudy's webinar on AI agents and strategies to scale and speed up digital testing. We're thrilled to have you with us today. I'm Geraldine, and I'll be your host for today's webinar. So before we dive in, I'll cover a few housekeeping rules. Your lines are currently muted to ensure a smooth experience. However, we encourage you to ask questions so you can submit them using the Q&A option at the bottom of your screen, and we'll address them during the Q&A session at the end. And also note that this webinar is being recorded and we'll be sharing the recording link after the webinar over email. So feel free to share it with your colleagues or friends who might find it valuable. Now, let me introduce our speaker for today, Jessica. Jessica is a pre-sales specialist at Pcloudy with over 5 years of experience in the IT industry. She specializes in test automation, AI-driven testing strategies, and continuous testing methodologies. With her expertise in modern testing frameworks, DevOps integration, and AI-powered test optimization, she has helped numerous organizations optimize their testing processes with cutting-edge technology. So without any further ado, let's welcome Jessica. Jessica, over to you.
Thank you so much, Jero, for that introduction. And hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. And I hope this discussion on AI agents and strategies to scale up your digital testing would be useful to you. Right. So with that, let's just get started. So firstly, let's just talking and introducing about Pcloudy and who we are. Right. We're a unified digital experience testing platform. And the core of our solution is our diverse device coverage, where we have scalable device infrastructure, be it your devices, mobile devices, browsers, smart TVs, watches, custom devices like Zebra, and so on, where we have also secure deployment options for you, be it on-premise, lab in a box, which is a quick on-premise setup, private cloud and public cloud options. And our solution layers comes in the form of our functional experience testing, where you will be able to do your manual and automated functional validations for all your features in your for your builds, for your applications, be it mobile, web applications, hybrid native applications, right? And even if you're having your existing frameworks like your APM and Selenium scripts, you will be able to seamlessly integrate into our platform and execute on our platform cross-channel, right? And another solution layer is our performance experience testing, which is a very exciting feature for us, right? Where we are tracking all your UI performance metrics, your networks and APIs, your frame-related response time, page transition, all these 60 plus critical app performance related metrics, and we're giving those dashboards and visualizations to you. And finally, on the digital experience front, where we are giving AI powered synthetic monitoring for your production related application, where you can 24/7 run your critical user journeys on your production applications, where anomalies and trends would be detected. So undergirding all these different solution layers that you just see here, right, is our AI agents, which drives throughout in this testing cycle and is the undergird for our solution layers, right? Be it our test creation agent, which we'll be focusing on today, along with self-healing that's incorporated into our agent, which will automatically fix your scripts, orchestration agent that will smartly allocate test cases to your devices, and as well as analysis from an analysis standpoint, observability and impact analysis agent, right? Where it will be able to detect those anomalies and send alerts. So that is a brief introduction into Pcloudy. So with that, let's get into the topic for today, which is AI agents. And before that, I just want to take a quick poll, right? So the question is, I think it should be flashing right in front of you, right? Is how often do you use AI? So here are a few options: every hour, every day, once in a while, or I don't use AI at all. So I'll just give you maybe a quick 30 seconds to answer that, and you'll see the responses coming in. Yeah, so I'm seeing a few responses. Most of the responses I can see are within the So most of the responses, majority are every day, and surprisingly, even some are every hour, right? So this merely goes to show how commonplace AI has become for all of us, right? So AI is everywhere for everyone and is used every day. So there is no longer restricted technology for a research lab or tech giants. It's for everyone, be it all kinds of personas, right? Programmers, QAs, teachers, students, CEOs, right? And also across industries. So IT, pharma, banking, fintech, right? Across industries, we see AI being incorporated, right? So that is why understanding its impact, the challenges, and also specifically the opportunities it presents is very critical, both to advance your career personally and also from making your QA and testing faster. And let's talk about how AI, a bit about the AI evolution, and let's just dwell a bit on that. So firstly, when we saw AI coming in, it was mainly low agency. It was more reactive. It was static. It could only do simple tasks that were straightforward, right? So these include the early AI models that were like the deterministic chatbots that you saw, or rule-based systems that had a predefined logic, right? So in the middle of we're seeing the LLM-based assistants like chatbots and like ChatGPT and Bard AI, right, and other Gen AI models that are closing this gap, right? So they are able to perform more complex tasks, handle dynamic environments, and assist in human decision making. So at the same time, it's not fully closed the gap, but we're moving there, right? And towards the future is what we see of high agency AI that will be adaptive, proactive, and capable of completely handling complex goals and operating autonomously. But what we're seeing is the trend is that that agency gap is getting closed, and LLM models are playing a key role in closing that gap. So we see that AI is transitioning from that static task-based models to fully autonomous models that are able to complete an end-to-end goal or task, right? On the same lines, this is just a timeline of how that has evolved, right, with NLP frameworks that were more, text-based, and it did not have contextual understanding. Moving on to conversational AI in 2017, which was intent-driven. It understood a bit of context, but it still required a lot of debugging, and the accuracy was low. Generative AI, yes, was a game changer, as we all know, with the launch of ChatGPT and LLM models and so on. And AI could understand and generate content intelligently, right? And it was able to give you those test script generations and so on. And finally, moving in the present and moving towards the future, we are in an era of LLM-powered AI agents. So where AI just doesn't generate content, it is able to reason, decide, and act autonomously and complete a task or a goal, right, end to end without human intervention. So from a testing perspective, this could be generating a fully functional test script, right, or self-healing, or prioritizing and executing scripts, and so on. So that is how we are seeing the evolution of AI agents. And with that, let's just have a quick definition of what AI agents are, right? These are autonomous or semi-autonomous software entities, right, that use AI to perceive, decide, act, and achieve goals in digital or physical environments. So unlike traditional automation, which follows predefined scripts, AI agents have the ability to learn from data, make those decisions dynamically, and accomplish the task, right? So it is really goal-oriented in that way. As we go deeper into the webinar and also further into the live demo, we will see how that all plays in to our solution. And at Pcloudy, we have really been in the forefront of this trend, right, in terms of making these AI agents really workable in the app testing space, right? So in the form of AI-driven software augmentation, and really revolutionizing the way organizations can scale and optimize your testing process through. So it's no longer just just any other AI solution, but truly something that will be efficient for you. Truly, that will be something that will make the life of a tester much easier, right? Be it in the form of autonomous test scripting, or AI-powered defect analysis, self-healing that's incorporated in, or smart test execution, right? So from an end-to-end goal, right, no longer just giving a script that might require further debugging and spending time debugging, but moreover, from an overall testing cycle perspective, how AI agents can truly become an efficient solution for you. And in that context, AI agents are part of the bigger solution winning formula, right? Forming that critical piece of the puzzle, where AI agents is bringing that intelligence, adaptability, and automation into testing, be it in the form of accurate test case generation, self-healing, or intelligent test execution, along with, in being implemented in an agile methodology, tracking the coverage, right? Increasing the test coverage that you have from manual versus automation, ability to integrate into your CI/CD, and so on. And of course, what is again critical is having a flexible infrastructure. So this is really important in the sense of scalability. So AI-driven test execution is really optimized for cloud-based testing across thousands of devices, right? So where you can run tests in parallel, right, in real devices, reducing your execution time, being able to have that comparative analysis between devices, executing cross-platform use cases, omni-channel use cases, and so on. And finally, also having ML predictive analytics and insights in terms of your app's performance as well. So all of this integrate to become a winning formula for you for your testing. So with all these different, part of solution lines or solution layers that come in, is where Pcloudy, we have designed that AI agent for everything testing. And we're introducing Qpilot to you, where it is a platform agnostic or fully autonomous AI testing agent. So it's goal-driven in terms of performing those testing tasks accurately, and it works across, right, be it for your mobile apps, your web apps, and soon to be AI API testing as well. And it uses that agentic AI to make testing intelligent and adaptive. So how is it different from, say, other Gen AI tools like ChatGPT, right? So Gen AI responds to single prompts, but it may not ensure that goal completion, right? It might require further debugging. You're not sure if that particular XPath or the locators are correct, and so on. Whereas with our Qpilot agent, it sets a goal and plans the workflow and executes the task, right? Learning and giving multiple feedback loops. So let's just take a pause and see how that works, right? So some of the process behind how Qpilot is working is, firstly, it requires simply a natural language input. You do not need any coding skills, or there's no standard format in which you need to give these prompts. Then it further interprets and reasons, understanding what object are you referring to, what action is it referring to, right? And it's and based on that, it generates a script, right? That's the workflow generation. And every step is also simultaneously being executed. And if it faces any error, it's giving a feedback to the workflow generation to make the script or the step accurate. So this is where the learning and course correction happens, right, multiple times iteratively, till the step is executed successfully, and then you get the final outcome of a fully functional working script. And more from the perspective of the same workflow in terms of the agents that are happening, working, behind the scenes, right? So firstly, the workflow agents of the XPath locators, right, where it goes through the entire DOM structure and hierarchy, right? Seeing where are those different objects and elements, trying to locate the accurate XPath in the locator and incorporate that into the script. Second is the code generation, which will perform the particular action, be it typing a text or toggling a button or selecting an option from a dropdown. Whatever that particular action is, it will be able to generate the code for it. And then the step execution agent, where that particular each and every individual step is executed and feedback is given in case if there's any errors, so that once multiple times this feedback happens between the step execution and the code generation agent, there's a fully functioning and working script, right? So this is how the agents are working behind the scenes to ensure that you have a fully functional and working script. Finally, here are some more exciting features that we've incorporated into Qpilot since the first time we announced Qpilot to you. So first is validations and assertions. So you'll be able to add validation and assertion steps again in a plain natural language input. Like for example, validate if add to cart button exists, or validate if login button is enabled. So you'll be able to add some these validation and assertion steps pretty much seamlessly. You can also add if else conditions and wait times and much more. Another thing you'll be able to do is parameterization or incorporate test data into your use cases. So in case if you do not want to input static data, you will also be able to give your test data in the form of a JSON format, which I will be showing to you, right? So that you do not need to input static data. Next, cross-platform test suites. So we have a powerful feature called collections, which will enable you to look at all the different use cases from your different folders. You'll be able to create and pick and choose your test cases and create a collection, right, which will be cross-platform in the sense of it can be from web, mobile, Android, iOS, right? And then you'll be able to give a name to your collection and select which devices you want these test cases to be executed on. So we have included collections, cross-platform test suites, and these collections can also be triggered from your CI/CD, be it Azure DevOps or Jenkins. We integrate with your CI/CD tools as well. Next is test configuration. So say, for example, you have already generated a test script using Qpilot, and then you're getting a new build or a new URL, right? You do not want to regenerate again. You can just go ahead and just to simply modify the app name or the URL and rerun the existing test case in order to not generate it again. So we have a test configuration option. And finally, we have test orchestration, which will smartly allocate, the sequencing and execution of those multiple test cases. So ensuring that, the way your collections are executed are efficient, right? So be it running your full regressions or test suites, being able to smartly allocate that. So these are some of the few features that we have, to name a few, added on since we have first announced Qpilot. Now let's see more into what are the specific, use cases where Qpilot will really help you scale up your testing and really change your testing game, right? So now be it scaling up your functional experiences testing. So this can be for two scenarios. Say you have already your existing framework. Say you already have developed a whole bunch of scripts, right? Be it with your APM or Selenium frameworks. You can leverage that and trigger your test suites from there. And we have our parallel execution agent, and we have self-healing in place, and as well as orchestration. Now, the same flow can be done and be done more efficiently with Qpilot. Sorry. So you'll be able to, from seamlessly generate test scripts, right, and create your test suites, and then run your test cases parallelly on maybe 10, 20, based on your concurrency. There is no you will be able to run multiple parallel tests, right? And we have self-healing incorporated in that, and also test orchestration, which will smartly allocate those tests across devices. So it will reduce that, your test cycle time and bring in efficiency in when you're running your collections or test suites. And we have our, the core of our solution, which is our device browser infrastructure, 5,000 plus device browser infra, right? Where you can execute on that and get those advanced automation test reports and analytics as well. So this will really help you scale your, functional experience testing. And what is the impact here in terms of, for you, it is faster release cycles with parallel execution, lower maintenance efforts for your scripts, efficient test case generation that's much faster and accurate, right? You don't have to worry about debugging your scripts. Scalable testing because we have our cloud-based infrastructure, right? And data-driven quality improvements because AI is always learning and getting those feedbacks, right? So this is how Qpilot will really help you scale your functional experience testing. Yeah. Another important aspect where Qpilot can come into play is synthetic continuous monitoring, right? So continuous monitoring of your app in production is also something that we see a lot of enterprise applications looking into, right? So for example, for your critical user journeys, like for example, login and authentication, or doing a critical transaction, account balance inquiries, and these kind of critical user journeys can be configured to run 24/7 on our hybrid cloud, right? So you can configure hundreds of parallel tests 24/7 and keep getting those real-time insights and metrics so that you are able to get those, app performance metrics, your UI metrics, or your network and backend API performance metrics, right? You're able to get all these real-time information, right? So that, again, the impact here is you're able to detect issues before real users are impacted on a large scale, right? Gain deep insights into the app's performance and stability, and maintain a seamless experience across platforms and devices. So this is another way where Qpilot can really help make your synthetic monitoring much more efficient. So with that, I think we are done with the slides. Let's quickly go into a demo of Qpilot, and we'll see it real time in action here. So I'm just moving to the tool. Give me a minute. Yeah. So this is the Pcloudy landing page, right? That you see here. And as I was telling you, this is our unified digital experience platform. Here you're able to see our new releases on Qpilot and app performance testing as well. And our diverse device browser infrastructure, along with all the various integrations and capabilities that we have. So with that, I'll just quickly go into the devices section. So the devices that you see here are all real devices that are hosted in our data centers, right? So we do not support simulators or emulators. These are, real devices that are hosted in our global device infrastructure. So you'll be able to filter based on the OS version. So we have the latest OS versions, be it Android 15 or the latest iOS version with 18.3, right? And so on. You can also choose from your OEMs. We have all the different devices, Apple, Google, Samsung, right? And screen sizes, network as well. So in case if you need any SIM-based devices for your testing, you'll be able to do that as well. And finally, also based on location. So we have data centers, multiple locations in India, the US, Singapore, and also our newly launched data center in the UAE, right? So with that introduction, let me just quickly go ahead and connect to a device. So once you click on connect, right, you will have full access of the device with you. And prior to testing, let me just, while the device session is getting established, let me just show you another section where you need to ensure your app is uploaded, right? So in the My Data section, ensure that you go ahead and browse through your machine and upload your APK or your IPA builds, right? And once that's done, I'm ready to begin my testing. So this is in the manual mode. So I just want to highlight a few features before we get into Qpilot mode. You'll be able to see the logs, take screenshots, analyze performance metrics like your CPU memory, take screenshots, log bugs in your Jira or your any bug tracking tool, right? And we also support specialized features like image injection and for scanning QR codes and checks and so on, and also biometrics, simulating network for different network speeds, geolocation testing, and so on. So if you're interested to know any of these features, you can, of course, look at our customized demos, or you can reach out to us for a customized demo, right? But I will now go into the Qpilot mode. So now when we're in this mode, the only input that is required is a plain natural language. So I'm going ahead and selecting our sample application, giving the the package name and the app activity name. I'm giving a logical feature name, and I'm giving a test description, right? So this test description can just be in plain natural language. As you can see, what I'm going to paste here, right, is a plain, simple, easy to understand natural language. So there's no one format as such that it needs to be in. You can also incorporate test data if you do not want to add a static data, right? So let me just show you how that works as well. So in this case, if I do not want to enter the actual name, I can input test data in the form of a JSON format. So it's again pretty much straightforward. Click on add test data, give all your the variable name and the corresponding names in this format, and click add test data. So once you do this, you can see, and you can just call that variable in that particular step, and the name will be incorporated in its place, right? So with that, I can just save it, select the folder that I want the test case to be saved in, and give a test case name. Yeah. Now I'm going to go ahead and click on generate. So as soon as I click on generate, what is happening is, firstly, the app will get launched based on the details that we've inputted here, right? With our app package and app activity name, the app that we have selected will get launched. So yes, the app has gotten launched. And one by one, the AI will understand the steps that we've given here, right? The natural language test case scenario that we've given here, right? So for example, enter demo in username field. All the agents that I was discussing, right, is coming into play here. So with the username field that's specified, it's going to go through the entire DOM structure hierarchy and identify accurately the username field, right, with the XPath and the locators. So that is the added advantage here, in the sense that you do not need to go and use your APM desktop or any other object spy in order to get those XPaths and the locators. It is able to fetch them seamlessly, and it's able to enter, do the action, which is enter a particular text, enter demo, right? So this does take, a few seconds of time, but the biggest advantage here is that you get a fully functional working script that I was mentioning, right? So that is the added advantage that you get here, in the sense that maybe there's a minute or two for a test case to get generated, but the script that is, once it's generated, is fully accurate, and you can directly trigger it. There is no need to sit and debug your script and so on. And another thing I want to highlight here is that it pretty much works seamlessly the same way for browser, where instead of these details, you will be giving your URL, and again, you just give the same natural language description, right? And it will launch the browser, launch the URL, and one by one, each and every one of these steps will get executed, right? So it's pretty much the same way for browser as well. And another thing I wanted to highlight is, once your test scripts are generated, you will be redirected to a dashboard called the Qpilot dashboard, where you will be able to see all your test scripts in a folder hierarchy, right? So you'll be able to organize your test cases, right, rename them, and you'll be able to execute them individually, or also group them into collections and run them as a collection as well. Yeah, so I think, where are we? We are now logged in, right? There are just a few more steps to be done, right? So we're just going ahead and performing a simple transaction here, where this is our sample banking app, and we have logged in, and we're just doing a fund transfer, right? So as I was mentioning, you're able to see, right, that for the feedback between the code generation agent and the workflow execution agent is happening right now in the backend. So for every step, you are able to see it's able to generate a script, execute it, and validate that whether the step was successful or not. So in this case, you can see that it has taken the data from our test data input and inputted that particular recipient name in that particular field, right? And then, yeah, we just have a couple of more steps to go with entering the amount and clicking on transfer. Yeah, so I think we're pretty much done. The test steps are completed. And you can see now that there's a pop-up that is saying that our script has been generated successfully, and it's redirecting us to the Qpilot dashboard. This is the Qpilot dashboard that I was talking about. Here in the all tests section is where you'll be able to see all the test cases that you've created, right? And in a folder format, and you will be able to, organize it in the way you want it to be. So here is the script we have created. I'm just clicking on script here. And as you can see, here is our fully functional generated script, right? You can generate it in multiple languages, JavaScript, Python, Java, right? We have multiple languages that are there. You'll be able to see your test data over here, right? You can also go ahead and edit your test configuration. So this is what I was mentioning is one of the add-on features that we have with Qpilot, where you, in case you get a new build, you do not need to go ahead and regenerate the whole test case again. You can just simply select the particular new build and from the drop-down, right? And save that. And you can also, in case if there's a change in app activity package name, you can also change that or the feature name and go ahead and save it. You can also go ahead and run an individual test script. All you need to do is click on run and go ahead and select the particular devices that you want it to run on from the drop-down. So here is the list of all the available devices you can choose for it to run on. But I want to go ahead and, before running it here itself, show the common scenario where it would be triggering multiple test cases at once. So let's just go to the collection feature. Yeah, so this is the collection feature that is a really unique and differentiating feature here at Pcloudy, which is truly where you'll be able to achieve true cross-platform testing, right? So be it your web test cases, right, your iOS, your Android use cases, you'll be able to trigger them all together in one shot. So I'm just going to go ahead and add a few Android use cases and iOS use cases and web-based use cases, right? And you can give a name to your collection, give a description if needed, and you can give the project name so that your report is generated specifically for this collection along with a build name, right? And here are all the use cases we have selected from here. And then you can go ahead and select which devices you want it to execute on. So for example, I'm just selecting the version range. So for example, here, version 13 to 15. And the OEM I've selected is Samsung. You can just select your preferred choice. I'm doing the same for iOS. And along with the number of devices as well, you can choose, and I'm doing the same for browsers. So now once we have given the device count and the test cases that we want, we can go ahead and save our collection. So this is redirecting us to the all collections. So here you can directly trigger the run from here, or we also have, so I'm going to be triggering it here from Pcloudy's UI, but you can also trigger it from your CI/CD as well. As I mentioned, we integrate seamlessly with CI/CD tools. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on run on a particular collection. And as you can see, the collection execution has started. So let me just go back to our active sessions to see if the triggers have begun. And also, another thing you can do is you can go ahead and monitor the reports as well. So you'll be able to see your progressive report. So even before the execution completes, you will be able to track the reporting for your use cases that are triggered. So here, as you can see, we've gotten some automation sessions that are ongoing. We can go ahead and click on the live view here. So here, basically, you'll be able to see whatever executions that you've triggered, you'll be able to see it live. There are also a few options here where you can zoom in, zoom out. So here you can see the transaction is happening now, right? The automation is ongoing. In case if you want to do a manual intervention, you can do that. Else, there is pretty much nothing you need to do from your end. Automation will happen pretty much seamlessly, right? And I think the flow is almost complete. And once it's done, the session will get released. And subsequently, while all the other sessions are also happening right now in parallel. So the execution is done. So let me also go to the reports section and show you how the reports will look like. So here is the reports that we've triggered. So you'll be able to see the breakup of all your test cases, right? How many are completed, how many are failed, in progress, and so on. So you will be able to see all of these. For every individual test case, you will be able to get this report. And moving on into a sample report and showing you how a sample report looks like for an individual test case, you will be able to see the text logs and the output of each and every step, as you can see here with the output. And in case if you've enabled for screenshots, even the screenshots will be visible here, like you can see over here, right? Also, you'll be able to see the device logs. And also you can download that as well, the APM logs, and that's also downloadable. Along with the app profiling, which will give you the CPU and the memory details. And along with this, you will be able to see the session, the video of the entire session that has taken place. So this is the kind of report you'll get for every individual test case, right? And this is how Qpilot, as I was mentioning, can really help you scale up your functional testing. So be it so I have shown you from the start of creating a script, from generating that script and editing it if required, in terms of the test configuration, running an individual script or running it at scale through collection. So this is how Qpilot can really revolutionize the way you do and scale your functional testing. So I hope this demo has given you a glimpse into our capabilities. And of course, if you're interested for a more customized or a more detailed discussion or a demo, please do reach out to us. We would be happy to connect with you. So with that, I would move to the Q&A session. So if there are any questions, I will be taking that up now. Yeah. Let me just see the chat. Yeah, okay, I've gotten. Does it support UI testing given the designs over apps like in Figma? So as of now, we mainly do it for builds like APK and IPA builds. But this is interesting. We can have a further discussion. As of now, it's not for Figma. Okay, here's another interesting question. Can we automate Flutter apps too using Pcloudy? Yes, that is a yes. You will be able to automate for Flutter apps. We have done this before and achieved use cases successfully. So it again pretty much works the same way. You upload your build and give the natural language inputs, and the test scripts are generated irrespective of the framework, right? So even in this case of irrespective of the technology. So here, if your app is built on Flutter, we will be able to support Qpilot for Flutter as well. Can we do it for different business apps? Yes. So there is no limitation in terms of, in terms of the sector of the app. So be it for banking or e-commerce, there is no limitation. So as long as you have the bills, you can test for multiple applications. You just need to upload it in the My Data section that I showed you, and you will be able to do it for different business apps. There is no restriction there. Another question that I see is, can we extract the code and use in local Selenium? Yes, you'll be able to extract the XPaths. There might be a few tweaks you need to do there, but you can extract the XPaths, the locators, and the code from the Qpilot generated one and reuse for Selenium, but there might be a few tweaks you need to do here. So yeah, the self-healing, yes, definitely that is incorporated with Qpilot, right? So we can definitely have a detailed discussion on self-healing and reach out to your specific use case on self-healing. We can definitely have another round of discussion on the self-healing part. But just to show you how that works is, if there's any change in your new build, all you need to do is regenerate the Qpilot run. right? And it will generate that fresh script for you. So you do not need to do those fixes because Qpilot is able to seamlessly in a matter of minutes just generate the new script. So you will not, it will automatically be fixed in that sense. Can we integrate with text execution tools like Jira? Yes, we integrate with our HPALM. Yes, we will be able to integrate with these tools. We already have integration with Jira, right? So you can, for example, logging a bug and so on, you can simply just log it from Pcloudy and it will get logged into your Jira. Can you create automated tests where two devices communicate with each other? Yes, so in the sense, I need to understand the specifics of the use case. We can definitely connect further to see how that the feasibility of your particular use case. But definitely, we will be able to generate use cases simultaneously. So I was showing it to you, one use case being generated at a time. But based on your concurrency, not just two, you can do 3 or 4 test cases at one time that is getting generated. You can do that. Can we generate test cases from backlog as well? So again, in Qpilot mode, it requires the natural language description. So as long as you're able to provide that, you can generate the use cases seamlessly. Okay, can we do performance and load testing using Qpilot? So for that, we have for performance testing, not load testing, but load testing, you can trigger your JMeter scripts, right? Whatever JMeter or the load that you're going to trigger on the server, you can trigger it from your JMeter. And we have a performance engineering module, which is not the Qpilot module. That's a separate solution entirely, which is another solution layer of Pcloudy, where you will be able to do a comparative analysis of a performance report of your application without the load and versus with the load. So, for example, we are tracking 60 plus metrics, right? And you will be able to do a comparative, you'll have the comparative reports of a report with the load and without the load. So you'll be able to do a comparative app performance testing while you're triggering your load scripts from your load testing from JMeter scripts. So I think you will be able to duplicate test cases, Yogiraj. Yeah, can we copy one test case and use in another test case? You can duplicate it. That is possible, yes. Can we use it for automating the APIs? Yes, that is in pipeline. As of now, also, we do have an API test where you'll be able to give curl API data, right? So you can just give the curl API as a step. So say, for example, your app is in a very early development phase and you do not have the login button or any particular for the UI to trigger a particular action. You can give the curl APIs and execute that particular step. And API testing is also in the pipeline. Does it have AI-driven missing test case detection? I would need to know more about your particular use case. The specific use case of what you're meaning here. We can definitely have another discussion. So as of now, to detect the missing use cases, maybe not directly, maybe this might have to be a customized thing. We can have a second round of discussion for sure on this. Thank you. So I think we have pretty much covered most of the testing. Yeah, okay, vulnerability and security testing. No, as of now, we do not support security testing. I would need to check that and get back, but as of now, we do not support security or vulnerability testing. Okay, I think it's most of the questions have been covered. Thank you so much for all your questions. I mean, it's been really positive to hear all these questions and to know that the session has been in some way, inspired you to think of how you can incorporate AI into your testing and Qpilot to help you with your testing journey. So thank you so much for these responses. That's really been great.
Yeah. So that brings us to the end of today's session. Big thank you to our speaker, Jessica, for sharing such valuable insights, and to all of you who've been an engaged and interactive audience. If we couldn't get to your question, or if you have more questions, don't worry. You can always reach out to us at info@pcloudy.com or connect with us over LinkedIn. And also, just a quick reminder, like I said before, this session is being recorded, and we'll be sharing the link with you right after this webinar over email. And feel free to revisit this discussion, try out Qpilot, and also share it with your colleagues as well. And stay tuned for our upcoming webinars, and be sure to follow us on LinkedIn, because that's where you'll find more updates on our AI-driven testing capabilities, automation, and industry best practices. So until next time, happy testing and have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.